Dave Andrews.
BBC Radio Leicester.
Now, personally, I think one of the most interesting historical areas anywhere in Leicester or Leicestershire is that bit around Belgrave Hall and Belgrave Gardens. It's also supposed to be the most spooky, isn't it? I think it's one of the most supposedly one of the most haunted areas of Leicester. And right in the middle of the area is the great old church of St Peter, which unfortunately has been declared redundant and it's been closed now for several years. Well, there is a group of people called the Friends of Belgrave St Peter's, and they became very worried about the state of the old church, and they decided the best way they can get some action going is to form a charity, which indeed they have been successful in doing. And so they've just recently announced the formation and the launching of the Belgrave Heritage Trust. And by great good luck and good fortune, I bumped into the new trust's press officer, Nick Fathers, at the Heritage and History Fair at Wigston last week, so I was able to get a good bit of background from him.
We were very sorry when the church was declared redundant and was closed. We managed to persuade the diocese to let us open for occasional open days, and we were surprised at the amount of response from people who'd been christened there or married there or grandparents had been buried there. And we thought we need to do something to bring the church back into community use. And to help us do that, we created Belgrave Heritage Trust. And when we can get into the church, we don't know. That's still in the lap of other people at the moment. But we're hoping to find some community use where the church can come back into use by the people of Belgrave.
What kind of state is the church in? I mean, how much is it in need of renovation before it would be ready for some sort of other life?
Well, internally, a lot of the original fittings are still there, but we know that the roof leaks in however many places, I don't know. So the money needs to be spent on making the place watertight. We know the heating needs attention. We know the electricity supply needs attention. So there's a lot to be done. Nobody, as far as I know, has actually costed that out, but it's got to be taken into consideration if we want to do something long-term with the building.
Have you got any financial backing as a heritage trust at the moment?
Not at the moment. We are very new. Once we know when and if we can get into the building, then we can start, if you like, raising money as a church building fund or repair fund or what have you. But that's a little bit down the track at the moment.
And finally, just thinking about that lovely area, given that you actually do get the church back into some form of use, I mean, what are some of the ideas that maybe it could be used for?
Well, it could be used as a meeting space. You could have it as a concert hall. There's a lovely space in the South Aisle which would be ideal for musical recitals and talks. You could have a coffee shop, a tea bar there. It could be used as a location for film or television companies. There's a whole list of things. We've had approaches from bell ringers asking if they can use the bell tower as a training place for bell ringers.
Are the bells still operable?
Yes, they are. And apparently I'm told that they are in very good condition, and it's a pleasure to ring them.
Is there still an organ in the church?
There is. That was put in 1999. It's only an electronic organ, but rather the old pipework was taken out. But yes, that's all in working order.
I've got to admit, my history of the church is a bit shady, to say the least. When was it last actually in use as a religious building?
I think it was about 2010. That was the last time there was a service there. Yeah. And then after that it was deconsecrated and declared redundant.
I'm just loving your idea that you mentioned just now of it being a film location. And you think it's ideal that area would be anything really, from period dramas to Midsummer Murders, really.
Yes. Put a few gas lights in there and you've got instant atmosphere.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. Thanks a lot. I'll keep in touch, keep us posted, and hopefully when the church is being brought back to life, we can come and do another piece actually there.
You'll be on top of the list.
Yeah, that was Nick Fathers from the Belgrave Heritage Trust on some of the plans and possible developments for St Peter's. Sounds really good, doesn't it? It would be really nice to know that the future of the church is kind of looked after. We're talking about murder mysteries there.